Okay, welcome back. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Great to be here.
You've given us a really fascinating set of sources today, all digging into this huge question. What really is human intelligence?
Exactly. And not just intelligence in the typical sense of processing speed or algorithms.
Right. These sources seem to push past that, challenging the idea that it's purely computational.
They do. They really frame intelligence as something deeply, fundamentally woven into our biology, our emotions, our actual physical selves.
So it's about how our bodies and feelings aren't just like add ons, but are foundational.
Precisely. That's the core idea we're unpacking, how these layers build up to create something far richer than computation alone.
Okay, let's dive in then. The big starting point seems to be this idea that human intelligence isn't just calculation.
No, not at all. The sources describe it as this complex, almost layered integration. Biology, emotion, sensation all evolved over immense timescales.
Survival, right, and for creative thinking.
Yes, exactly. And there's this sort of hierarchy suggested where the biological and emotional stuff isn't just floating on top, it's the bedrock.
The foundation upon which our higher cognitive functions are actually built.
That's the argument. And right there in that foundation is something AI, well, current AI just doesn't have genuine emotional intelligence.
Yeah, the sources are pretty clear on that. The neural networks involved in understanding and managing emotions that seems uniquely human.
Well, think about the limbic system, the amygdala, for instance. It's not just recognizing patterns like an algorithm might.
It's doing threat detection, forming emotional memories.
Right. Which leads to these rapid survival based decisions. It's that gut level reaction informed by past feelings. It's a whole different kind of processing.
And you can actually see differences in brain structure.
Yeah, research cited shows that people with higher emotional intelligence often have measurably different connectivity.
Specifically between the thinking parts, the prefrontal cortex, and those emotional centers.
Exactly, particularly the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. It acts like this bridge, integrating emotional information with cognitive analysis.
So it's not just processing data points, it's creating context appropriate responses based on feelings.
Which is fundamentally different from an AI just running code without that internal felt state. It's about regulation, not just execution.
Okay, so emotions are foundational, but then the sources go even deeper, literally into the body with interoception.
Yes, interoceptive awareness. And it's not just a metaphor, that gut feeling idea.
It's about literally sensing your internal bodily signals, heart rate, breathing.
Uh-huh. All those internal cues. Your brain is constantly monitoring your internal state. It's a whole stream of information that, well, computational systems just don't have access to.
Because they don't have bodies.
Right. And the insula, the interoceptive cortex, is processing this. That's where those gut feelings come from. It's your brain interpreting subtle physiological shifts.
Leading to quick, intuitive decisions based on this sort of bodily wisdom.
Exactly. And the research connects sensitivity to these internal signal, interoceptive sensitivity very strongly with emotional competence, learning, even better decision making.
Wow. So it's not just background noise, it's actively guiding attention, motivation.
Constantly, often below conscious awareness. It's providing this continuous internal context.
And what's really striking is that the brain areas involved, like the anterior insular cortex, they overlap with networks for general intelligence.
Yes, like fluid intelligence networks.
Yeah.
It strongly suggests that this body awareness isn't some side feature. It seems to be a fundamental part of being intelligently adaptive. It requires embodiment.
So it's not just internal signals, but how we integrate all our senses too.
Right, multisensory integration, another huge advantage for human intelligence.
Taking sight, sound, touch, and combining them. The sources mention something like super additive responses.
Yeah, basically, when information from different senses lines up well, like seeing someone speak and hearing their voice at the same time, the brain's response is stronger than just adding the two signals together.
So you perceive things more accurately, more efficiently.
Dramatically so. It's how we navigate complex, messy environments. Think about listening to someone in a noisy cafe.
You're integrating the sight of their lips moving, the sound of their voice, filtering out the clatter.
Exactly. Seamlessly merging congruent signals, filtering out the noise. AI struggles with that kind of real world ambiguity.
And how well we do this actually correlates with cognitive performance, like speed, attention, memory.
It does. The precision of that integration is linked to better cognitive function and even seems to support better cognitive health as we age.
Plus, it helps with learning and memory itself.
Oh, definitely. Experiencing something through multiple senses creates much richer, more robust memory traces. It's like encoding the information across different brain channels simultaneously, easier to recall later.
Okay, let's circle back to emotions for a second. The sources also frame them not just as feelings, but as sophisticated information sources.
Yes, as information processing systems that guide decisions in ways logic alone can't. This brings in the somatic marker hypothesis.
Ah, right. The idea that emotions leave these sort of physical tags on experiences.
Kind of like that, yeah. Your body creates these markers linked to the outcomes of past choices. Later, facing a similar choice, your body reactivates that feeling, that marker.
Giving you a quick, maybe unconscious nudge towards what worked before or away from what didn't. Embodied wisdom.
Precisely. And you see this with integral emotions, the feelings directly related to the decision at hand.
Like feeling uneasy about a risky choice, or maybe feeling trust towards someone.
Exactly. That's not noise. It's valuable data based on your lived experience, providing context that a purely analytical approach might miss entirely.
And there's the appraisal tendency framework, too.
Right, which shows how specific emotions trigger predictable cognitive and behavioral patterns. They aren't just random feelings.
So fear makes you cautious and focused on threats.
Uh-huh. Anger might make you more assertive, focused on overcoming obstacles. Sadness might prompt reflection or seeking connection.
These are adaptive responses, tuned by evolution. It's a form of intelligence itself.
A very powerful form, especially when it comes to survival, which is a major theme in these sources.
Our emotional systems evolved specifically to tackle survival challenges.
Yes, creating an intelligence geared towards staying alive and thriving, operating much faster than conscious deliberation often can.
The sources mention 5 primary survival emotions:
Mhm.
fear, anger,
Disgust, sadness, and shame. They're described as rapid response systems.
hardwired to guide behavior towards survival.
And each offers a unique kind of intelligence. Fear is obvious threat detection, risk assessment based on subtle cues, triggering fight or flight.
Anger helps protect resources or push towards a goal.
Right. Disgust gives you that immediate visceral no to potential contamination, physical or even social. It's incredibly fast.
And these systems operate via specialized brain circuits that bypass conscious thought, initially at least.
Often, yes, milliseconds faster, which gives a huge adaptive edge in situations where you don't have time to think it through logically.
Okay, so all of this, the emotions, the body signals, the senses, it all seems to point towards embodied cognition.
That's a central theory running through these sources, yes. The idea that intelligence isn't just in the head, isolated.
It emerges from the interaction. Mind, body, environment, all interconnected.
Exactly. It flips the old computational model. Your physical experiences aren't just input, they actively shape your cognitive abilities.
Like how we learn through moving and sensing. Sensor motor experience.
Crucial. It forms the foundation for abstract thought, creativity. Think about a child learning.
Learn up and down by moving, heavy by lifting, rough by touching.
They build concepts directly from physical interaction, creating these rich, multimodal maps in the brain.
It ties into the grounded cognition framework. Our thoughts are grounded in these physical experiences.
Precisely. It shows the deep interconnectedness of senses, body, environment, and thought.
And then situated cognition as the immediate context. How the environment right now affects how you think.
Yeah, enabling those incredibly flexible, adaptive responses we have to constantly changing situations.
What about the really big ones like creativity and consciousness? The sources link these to biology too.
They do, arguing that human creativity, that ability to generate genuine novelty, isn't something current algorithms really replicate.
It's linked to something called biased stochasticity, slow brain fluctuations.
Sort of like the brain exploring possibilities below the level of consciousness, but in a guided, not purely random way. It's a biological capacity for generating the new.
And the default mode network is important here, the mind-wandering network.
Seems to be. It's crucial for connecting seemingly unrelated ideas, which is, the heart of insight and innovation,
And then there's consciousness itself, self-awareness.
which the sources firmly place as emerging from our biology, something current AI simply lacks. There's a key distinction made.
Between intelligence as problem solving.
And consciousness as subjective experience, depth of understanding, self-reflection, ethical reasoning, qualitative differences.
Right. And finally, the sources really emphasize social and cultural intelligence.
Yeah, as a form of cognition that's way beyond just recognizing patterns in social data feeds.
It's about thriving in diverse human groups, built from lived experience, not code.
Exactly. Humans have these incredibly specialized skills for cultural learning, passing knowledge down generations, understanding intricate social rules.
There's even that hypothesis suggesting our edge over other species might be more about these social cognitive skills than just raw processing power.
It's a compelling idea. Think how fast kids pick up language, social cues. It's remarkable social learning.
And cultural intelligence has dimensions: cognitive, motivational.
Behavioral flexibility and metacognitive awareness, knowing your own biases and adapting. These let us navigate really complex social worlds and cooperate.
And like everything else, this has biological roots, specialized brain networks for social processing.
Yes, for reading faces, tone of voice, understanding context, making those rapid, intuitive social judgments.
So when you put all these layers together, emotions, body sense, multisensory integration, survival drives, embodiment, creativity, consciousness, social smarts,
Limitations of purely computational AI become much clearer.
the sources argue it's not just about lacking enough data or processing power.
No, the fundamental limit is the lack of embodiment, the lack of genuine emotional processing, the lack of biological sensory integration.
AI runs on algorithms and patterns. It doesn't have internal body signals, no survival imperatives driving it, no real feelings.
It can simulate emotions, maybe even detect them in us, but it lacks the authentic, lived, felt experience that gives human emotions their meaning and informational power.
No genuine empathy, no gut-level moral intuition.
Those are fundamental constraints, even efforts towards embodied AI, giving robots bodies.
They still lack the millions of years of biological evolution, the specific neural structures, the hormones.
Exactly. The core biological foundation just isn't there. And the energy efficiency point is also telling.
The human brain is incredibly efficient compared to AI data centers.
Evolution optimized our biology for this integrated intelligence in a way that's remarkably lean, resource-wise.
So wrapping up this deep dive, the overwhelming message from these sources is human intelligence is embodied, fundamentally.
Yeah, its power comes from that intricate integration of biology, emotion, environment, social life, consciousness. It's a unified system.
And while AI is amazing at computation, that embodied nature gives us humans qualities, adaptability, creativity, intuition, social depth that purely computational systems don't possess.
It really is a different kind of intelligence altogether.
Which leaves us with a big thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If our intelligence is so deeply tied to our bodies and feelings,
Mhm.
what does that mean for how we define intelligence itself? Not just ours, but any potential intelligence, artificial or otherwise. It raises quite the question.